willing to stay here? I mean, are you willing in the cold and the rain and the snow that's coming?
Yes, yes we are.
You're really going to stay here, huh?
The voice of the people is yes.
All right.
Whatever that takes, whatever that means.
Now, are you willing to go to jail if they kick you out of here?
I'm on the list of people who said yes. I'm going to try my best to be here as often as possible, as much as possible, even with my school, even with my work.
Where do you work, by the way?
Unfortunately, unemployed right now, but I'm employed by the JCC actually as a swimming instructor, and I go to school at JWU, and I'm willing to get arrested. Yes, I am, if that's what's necessary to take a stand before the park, as many others are as well.
All right.
If an individual is arrested, you will be taken to the police station for processing. Again, I'm not quite sure how it works. If it's, if they're taking you for violating a civil order, I assume it turns into an arrest since they're forcibly taking you. So I assume you'll be treated I assume you'll be treated the same way as if you've been arrested for an actual criminal offense. That happens, they will get basic information from you, they will process you, which includes taking your fingerprints, and then you're entitled to an arraignment. I mean, they could also just issue a summons to you and let you go. Just say, we want you back in court on such and such a date. That is one option. They can otherwise bring you before a judge for what's called an arraignment.
I think it's an uphill battle because it's both because the city is going to make this public safety argument about the after 9 o'clock, and so the courts would have to weigh the safety issue with the protection of speech, so I think it's an uphill battle, which is to say that I think the city has a better than even chance of prevailing. But I think nevertheless there is an argument to be made, and it's up to whatever judge you get. And the argument is that a curfew that precludes anybody from being here after 9 is just too much of a burden on speech. That would be the argument.
Especially anybody who, if there's any negotiations with the police about how this is going to happen, is how they handle the property that's here. Your tents, whatever's in those tents. I think it's very important that nobody forget that this is stuff you don't just want the police gathering, seizing, destroying, and so that's something also to think about. Certainly, if you're expecting police to come, you want to consider what it is you have in your tents, because police may be going into them. But I would certainly encourage a discussion with the police or whoever's involved as to how they are going to handle that aspect of coming in here and trying to move people.
Well, there was a question whether if you just go limp, is that resisting? And the position of the ACLU, and I would agree, is that that should not be considered resisting arrest. Now, whether the police see it that way, who knows? Then there's a question about precautions. Should the police come in and remove people, which does constitute taking people technically an arrest, even if they don't proceed criminally. Okay? When we're talking about precautions, I know there's some nonviolent trainings going on, which are important to attend for exactly that reason. And if the police do come and start actually removing people, then the ACLU would be notified, and watchers would be available to make sure that that's done as peaceably as possible.
To be ordained a bishop would often be challenged about his sexuality and how that fit in with Scripture. And he got pretty tired of all of that, because he kept saying, that's not the message in the Bible. The message in the Bible is peace and justice in all our traditions. If you count up all the time, least of these is really at the core of all our traditions.
To help me out. Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom over me. And before I'll be a slave, I'll be buried in my grave. Oh, freedom over me. One more time now. Oh, freedom. Come on. Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom, freedom, oh, freedom over me, now before I'll be a slave, I'll be buried in my grave. Oh, freedom over me, no more fighting, no more fighting, no more fighting, no more fighting. I'll be buried in my grave. No more fighting over me.
Like out of the game. See you later.
Is it in the open space? Yeah, we're just